Yeah.
It doesn't matter what other people think. People are always going to have opinions, good or bad. At the end of the day, even if it doesn't work out, we tried.
Yeah.
I never want to live in the what ifs. Like, I never want to look back and think, what if I started that clothing boutique? What if? Like, at least I tried. Like, at least I know what that outcome was.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Highest Version podcast. On this podcast, we talk about falling in love with the process of getting better every day and becoming the highest version of ourselves. Today's guest is Kelly Lynn. I met Kelly through my partner, Michelle. I like to say Kelly is like a fun-spirited and a always willing to have fun individual. I think she really embodies work hard, play hard. She started her own clothing line called Aeza, which has caught the attention of many influencers, including Vivacious Honey, who has 1 million followers on IG. Also, I like to say she's the unofficial side hustle queen because every time I talk to her, she's always working on some side hustle, making money from this side hustle and this side hustle. Also with that, she's also a proud corgi dog owner. So let's welcome Kelly.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Kelly.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. How are you feeling?
Nervous?
You're fine.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you for coming on this podcast and, obviously taking time to kind of talk us through like your life and kind of like your perspective and just your story. Who is Kelly?
Who is Kelly? Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess, yeah, I'm a proud corgi owner. I'm a entrepreneur. I don't know, side hustle queen. You basically explained me to the T. I don't know. I just kind of like go where the wind takes me.
Yeah.
There's I am who I am, but I feel like there's not like a single word that describes me because I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever, like, let's do it.
Yeah, you're always go with the flow, which is like something I cannot do.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing because I'm not very punctual.
Yeah, she showed up an hour late today.
Yes, I do apologize. I am working on it. Watch is not on.
Oh, because the watch is not on, she's not
Watch
punctual.
is not on. My boyfriend got me a watch for my birthday this year, and every time that my watch has been on, I've been on time, relatively on time, but I forgot to put it on today.
I was like, why is the watch not on today?
I apologize. I forgot to put it on, but okay. I'm working on it.
Yes. So before we get into like your story, I do want to highlight the Funko Pop of today's show, and that is MJ from the new Spider-Man series with Tom Holland, and the person that plays MJ is Zendaya. And I like to think Zendaya is a successful actress. Also, she's a business well person now. So I think that's the kind of connection I was going for. When I was trying to ask you what interests and everybody around you, like what interests you have, like there is no Funko Pop for it. So I like to say this is probably the closest I got to.
Well, I love Zendaya, so
okay. That's what I figured. Okay. Awesome. Nailed it.
Okay, awesome.
So yeah, let's start from the beginning. Like let's talk about your childhood and high school experiences and maybe college experiences. Basically the events that make you today.
The events that make me today. I guess I feel like a part of who I am is that I'm super driven and I just like to keep myself busy. I think what led me there was because of my childhood and because, like many of your other guests, my parents are immigrants. I'm a first generation eldest daughter in an Asian American household, and growing up, like many others, we didn't have much, and I didn't have a lot of stability growing up. So I guess because of everything that's happened in my childhood, I realized that money is stability, money is freedom, and that is why I push myself to do so many things, because I like money. And I learned that money really it could be a really toxic thing if you don't have a healthy relationship with it, but I've learned that money gives me the opportunity to do so many things, and it gives me freedom to do whatever I want. So I never want to be in that position that I was when I was younger, where I didn't have the money to do X, Y, and Z. For example, when I was younger, I lived in the projects, and it was like very far from where all my friends lived, very far from like anything. So the only way to get to where I wanted to go and hang out with my friends was either by car or by bus. And I was, what's the word? Not bratty, but but I just refused to take the bus growing up. Like I would rather walk, but walking was just too far. So when Uber became a thing, like I wanted to Uber, but I had no money to Uber, and I worked at the mall, and I couldn't get to the mall unless my mom picked me up. But my mom's also a very interesting character, where she would not want to drive me to work sometimes, or she would be like, I'm doing my thing, you have to figure out your own way to go to work, even though I tell her like days in advance, like I have to be at work. So money gave me the opportunity and the freedom to order myself an Uber to get to work, and stuff like that. When my mom would like leave me and my brother at home, stuff like that, like when we figured out how to order food, like my mom would literally leave me and my brother at home sometimes with no food. So we'd either starve or like figure out a way to be like, we used Grubhub at the time.
Okay.
It wasn't like Uber Eats or anything, so we had to order from Grubhub.
Yeah.
So like we needed money for that. So like money, opportunity, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of put at a young age that money allows you the freedom that you want to.
Right.
I guess, did any pressure come with that? Just because, like, or did you feel like at a young age you were just in survival mode?
I think at a very young age, I've been in survival mode just because I am the oldest, and I was put in a position where I had to grow up really fast because I either had, like, I just had to survive. My parents did everything they could to give me, like, everything that I needed, but they were making minimum wage, they were working minimum wage jobs. My mom worked on and off as when I was a child, but like the majority of my household income came from my dad, and I saw how much pressure that put on him. So at a very young age, I realized that, and I told myself that once I had the opportunity, I would help him take some of that stress off of his plate. So yeah, there was some pressure, and my mom being very traditional, she's always had that mindset, because I am your mother, because I birthed you, you need to provide for me, you need to do this for me, and that pressure came at a very young age. And because we didn't own our own home growing up, she was always like, you need to buy us a house when when you can. So like that pressure just stuck with me this whole time. And it did drive me, and it made me really ambitious, but it is a lot of pressure to have as a young individual growing up.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think I've ever known that about you, I don't think I've ever seen that pressure ever break you, to be honest.
I mean, I try to not, like, I feel like, don't get me wrong, I had a good childhood, but it was also a very traumatic childhood.
Of course.
And I don't share that, only because I try to be that fun spirit. I don't want it to, like, ever bring anyone down, and I only really talk about it when people ask me, or one of my friends is going through a hard time, and I could share my story to, tell them that, it gets better, or in any way help. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so, I think what I'm just realizing now is that we've had probably like a few one-on-one talks, but obviously we talk when we hang out as a group. But I feel like right now is an opportunity to kind of understand like your mindset, and like just like how I was gonna say like how like Kelly is Kelly, but also like but like understand these deeper things, and I feel like we never had the opportunity to do that.
No, I don't think we did, because we do have those one-on-one talks, but the majority of the time we are in a group setting, and we have, like, I don't see you as often as I'd like to. True, and I feel like a lot of the times when we're catching up, it's to catch up, or we're just hanging out and other topics come up and we just never get down to the deep and personal things.
Yeah, never get down to the nitty gritty and just
No.
like, you know, have those like late night drinking nights and stuff like that.
Well, like when I drink,
Yeah,
it's a different conversation.
True. Yeah. Oh my God. When I first, I think, I think my first impression of you was like, damn, this girl's wild.
When you met me, it was a much wilder time.
Yes,
I
yes.
think I'm a little bit more tame now.
Yes.
And older.
Yes.
And a little more tame.
Well, obviously, no, you're right. I think it's also because I think at the time you were also like going through your own struggles too.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can see why for every young 20-year-old or close to 20-year-old, the only solution is drinking. Yeah. But to go back to obviously what you saw growing up and how that has shaped you and how you don't really show it, which is completely fine. But I guess how do you balance that pressure in terms to where like it doesn't break you? Like you understand that that's your drive, but how do you not let it break you down?
It has broken me down a couple of times. I have my moments where I will, I just need to let it out, cry it out. But I remind myself that won't define me. If I'm not able to meet my parents' expectations, that's not going to define me. I try my hardest, and my dad is really understanding of that. He knows how much I put on my own plate in order to support myself and he understands that he's not able to do that. In an ideal world, he would have loved to like be able to pay for my school, pay for like whatever I needed, but he understands that because of his situation and our family situation, I had to take on a lot of that financial burden myself. And I don't know. I guess I just have to remind myself that I am 24 years old and that is still very young. Yeah. And I have to remind myself that at my age, I think that I've accomplished a lot and that it's not like everyone's, like I've accomplished a lot, and at the end of the day, even if I quote unquote fail, it's not really failure because I've learned so much along the way, and that's knowledge that I'm going to take with me forever. But definitely have some cry sessions if necessary. And I think that's what keeps me sane, but also just constantly reminding myself that like whatever, that's not going to define who I am. I'm still going to try to have fun throughout it all. And yeah.
How does it feel to be like the oldest sister to like and like be a model for Simon, who's your brother? Or do you feel like you're just like, nah, like I'll do what I want and then he can follow or not follow?
I feel like I have been just doing whatever I've been doing. I think in hindsight, maybe I do feel like I have to be a good role model, but my brother is 21. He has a mind of his own. He could either follow or not follow. I don't feel too much pressure on being a good role model for my brother because I feel like I don't want him or anyone to feel like they have to fit a certain like role model. Like I feel like there are so many things that you can do and to be a good role model, and I don't want someone to be like, this is exactly what you have to do in order to be this person. Right? Yeah. So I don't feel too much pressure on that, luckily. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I felt like when I was younger, like it was my oldest brother. Well, he's my only brother. But my older brother, he was the one that was like the same mentality as you. Like, dude, you do what you want, you follow if you want to. But then that pressure kind of went on me, not from him, from my parents, to kind of take what what he didn't do for my parents, and I had to like take on that pressure. So there's additional pressure when thinking about it. And not to say like I was trying to be a role model. I was just trying to do what you were doing, which is giving back to your parents. Which,
Right.
Which I think as a young child, like we don't know what that means. The only thing that we think that means is getting good grades, getting money to help support bills and all that stuff. Like when your mom said, "Oh, you have to buy a house," I was like, "Oh, that's exactly what I was thinking." Right. But I'm like, I recently had a therapy session, and I had to write a eulogy, which is like, you know, when you pass away, someone says, you know, stuff about your life and stuff like that.
You wrote your own eulogy?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was kind of scary. But
it's kind of morbid.
Yeah. But she was like, pick an age, any age that you want. And I was like, I picked 67 because that was like the retirement age. So I'm still alive and like I'm, you know, like
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't attach death to that because I was thinking of like 70, 80, but I was like, that makes me really scared. So I'm sticking with the retirement age.
Okay.
And in it, part of it was, to me, it was giving back to my parents in the way that I want to. And I realized when I was writing it, it was just through like experiences, right? Giving them the vacations that they want. It wasn't a house or a car or anything material, even though they say that all the time.
Right.
It's just experiences that they couldn't do when they were, you know, at my age, right?
Right.
But the line that I wrote, and I'm really surprised I wrote this line. I must have been really in my feelings. But I said, Randy gave back to his parents in a way he didn't think he would. He took them to Laos so that their last memory of Laos wasn't a war-torn country, but the country that they loved when they were little.
That just gave me chills. Wow.
And when I read that to my therapist, I think that's when I started to tear up because I was like, I think I finally figured out what giving back to them means.
Yeah.
And my dad complains all the time. He's like, I don't want to do the long flight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine how they, at a young age, were escaping, right? Seeing all this like death and horrific things. And that's the last thing that they remember about their home country.
Right.
And I think giving them that experience to be like, and also, you know, obviously I'm at a good point financially to give them more experiences that they already have besides like, you know, whatever it is. Yeah, and I think that was just such a defining moment for me. And the fact that it's been recent years is kind of crazy too. Yeah, my therapist also said she started to tear up too because she's also first generation Asian American
right now. But that's amazing. That's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think experiences are so important in life, and that our parents have just been working the entire time that they've been in the Americas, and they haven't really had the opportunity to travel and see the world.
Yeah.
And I do feel a little bit of guilt from that as well because like we get to travel so much and they only get to see pictures.
Yeah, true.
And they're obviously happy for us whenever we go and we travel, but you know, like it'd be great to just be able to give them, you know, a ticket back to their home country and just visit. My parents talk about that all the time too. So I'd love to do that in the future as well. Yeah.
What part of China were your parents from?
This is kind of embarrassing to say, but I don't know.
It's okay.
It's okay. Like, I think it's like...
if you have an idea.
I think it's like... My dad is from the village, so I have no idea what village.
Okay, yeah.
My mom is from, like, the city, I think. I think it's Guangzhou. But I don't know for sure. I was born there.
Yeah. You were born there, but I don't...
Yeah.
But when did you...
I moved here with my mom when I was 1 in 2001.
Okay, so yeah, you obviously did it.
It's been a long time. I went back when I was 5, but I was 5, so I don't really remember much. And I'm really embarrassed to say that I don't know where
it's okay.
From, but
you better go ask tonight.
They've told me, but it never sticks because there are so many versions of different towns that sound the same. So I don't want to say the wrong answer, but I think it's Guangzhou.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Either way, wherever the ticket is going, that's where the ticket is going.
Yeah. Wherever. They'll be happy to be in China. I think as long as they can get to Hong Kong, they can figure it out from there.
Gotcha. I think this is embarrassing to admit too, but I don't know why. I think before, I don't think I knew your ethnicity to the T, not to the T, but
Really?
I thought you were Viet at first.
Indeed.
But even the last name I should have known, but I think.
Okay, well, to be fair, I do get that a lot.
Okay,
and
right,
maybe
right.
because I did go to Vietnam last year.
That probably
that
stuck there. Yeah.
Stuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm Chinese.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Born there, born in China. Made in China, guys.
But I mean, going back to just high school, like how did you, I guess, balance like, thinking about all like that pressure from your parents and then just living a high school life?
I guess in high school, I was a typical high schooler, but I remember that I wanted a job. Like in my freshman year of college, I wanted a job like right away. I know that I don't know if kids these days like think about wanting a job like as soon as they get into high school, but I remember being 14 and this isn't even like, I'm not even thinking about like the pressure of like supporting my family. Yeah, I mean, of course I'd want to help them and that is in the back of my mind, but at 14 getting into high school, I was just thinking like, dang, I have no money. Like I just get like whatever allowance my parents give me, but like any other kid, like I want to go hang out with my friends at the mall or get food after school, but I have no money. So I just maybe, I don't know if I was born with it, but maybe I just always had an entrepreneurial spirit because even though I wasn't of legal age to work at the time, I did find a way to make money. I sold my old clothes online.
Nice.
And that was able to, bring in a little bit of cash so I could go get food after school or go to the mall or whatever. And then when I turned 16, I got my first job. And when I did get my first job at 16, I had a really bad relationship with money at the time because that was also a really bad time for my family financially. So all the money that I brought in, I would try to help my dad in any way that I can. But in the back of my mind, I was being a little bit selfish because that was the first time that I was actually making real money. And I had one of those bank accounts that was linked to my parents because I was young. So my parents were able to see how much money was in my bank account. So in my mind, I had to spend like as much as I can. Otherwise, my parents are going to be like, can you pay for this and that? And I wouldn't be able to say no because what kind of daughter would you be to be like, no, I can't pay the electricity bill right now.
Right.
But it is a lot of pressure to put on a 16-year-old paying like the household bills and stuff. And I did want to do it, but it was the first time I was making money, so I wanted to be a little bit selfish. So for like a short period of time, well actually for probably like a year or so, I had a really bad relationship with money just because I needed to, like if I had money in my bank account, it was going to go towards like bills or something like that. And yeah, so that was my high school career. When I got a little bit older, when I was 16, 17, I was working at the mall. I was still making, like a little bit above minimum wage, but my relationship with money, I guess, was a little bit better. And I just gave my dad like $200 a month, and he did whatever
he wanted with it.
Yeah, right. And thinking back, I feel like that was no, it wasn't enough, obviously, but I did what I could at the time.
Right.
I didn't make much working at the mall. So
yeah. I mean, you're balancing taking this responsibility, which is obviously very hard for a 16-year-old, but also building your identity, your life, and adhering to the needs and wants that you want. And I think, like you said, this is the first time that you don't have to ask for money or anything like that.
Right.
Like, this is like, you're like, oh, like, I mean, when we were in high school, like, what we get, like, our paycheck's like, what, $200?
It's like
yeah, we're like, we're rich.
I thought that too. I was like, $200? What am I gonna do? I'm getting a lobster tonight. Not really, but like, I felt rich.
yeah. But now, I mean, obviously, when we think about it now, we're like, it's nothing if I'm getting that every paycheck.
You walk out the door and it's $200.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I guess what gave you the idea to sell your clothes for money? Like what?
Well, growing up, I loved clothes. And my mom luckily, my mom liked clothes too. And when she was in a good mood, she would always want to buy clothes for me and my brother. That was like the one thing that she did like pay for. My mom like didn't pay for any of like the household bills and stuff because my parents are traditional. It was like the man has to pay for all the bills. And I kind of but anyways, back to the clothes. So I loved clothes growing up. I had a bunch of clothes and dance costumes because I danced all throughout elementary school into high school for 11 years. So I had a bunch of dance costumes, a bunch of old clothes. My mom had old clothes too. So I would literally like go through my house, my basement, like anything. I'd be home a lot because, again, my mom left me and my brother home a lot. And we wouldn't have a car. We didn't have anywhere to go. We didn't live close to anybody. So I would just be home. So on a weekend, I would go through my house and see what was laying around. And I discovered this app called Poshmark.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to just take some pictures of things that I have and I don't want anymore and see what sells. And I remember when I sold my first item, I was so excited. It was, what was it? It was, I don't know if you would know what I'm talking about, but I know the girlies out there would. But back in like 2012, when everyone had like an iPhone 5. Okay. The It Girl phone case back in the day was like this teddy bear phone case.
Yep. I seen those all the time.
It's so ugly now thinking back at it, but at the time, like everybody wanted it. But I didn't want it anymore at the time. So I listed it for sale for $5. I remember. I think I got like 97 cents from it because like of all the fees that they take. Yeah. So they take a percentage and you get like a percentage. So I think I ended up making like 97 cents, but I was so excited because I made a sale and that's all it took for me to keep going. So every weekend I'd go looking for more things and I'd just take pictures of my stuff, maybe even my mom's stuff that she didn't want anymore. I
was going to say, did you do it without her saying
that she didn't want anymore?
She's like, Kelly, where's my coat?
No, I wouldn't do that, but it would just be like little things. Even like samples that like I got from the store, like brand name samples. I'd list those and it would sell. So I'm like, people buy this stuff? I got this for free. So that's when I learned that the internet is powerful and that there is a market for everything because people will buy anything. So yeah, that's how I got to selling old clothes online.
That's so crazy because I think like I wouldn't have thought about that. If I'm just sitting at my house, I'm literally just watching a movie, or if I'm stuck in my house like watching a movie or something, like I wouldn't be like, like what can I do to like make money? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. That was just like maybe that came from the pressure that I had inside me, and I just needed to find a way to make some dough.
Nice. Yeah. I think this is a good segue to talk about Aeza because I want to know a full story in terms of like how this came about, like the whole purpose behind it. And obviously you guys are successful because of just like the attention. Like I was looking through, I think when I was going through your Instagram page, looking at the influencers, I'm like, these are reputable people. Like these aren't just like local artists. Well, I think Vivacious is local, but like
I think she's local.
I think
Unless
she is.
she's in New York now.
Yeah.
But I think she's local.
Yeah. But But yeah, let's take a quick break and we'll get into Aeza.
Awesome.
So let's get. Well, we're back.
We're back.
So let's. Well, first, I did think about this, but do you have a cringy high school moment that you can remember?
I feel like I talked about this recently with someone, but I don't remember who. I definitely do. There's probably more than one.
Okay.
I mean, I did a lot of things I wasn't proud of in high school, but cringy.
Yeah, we'll go cringy. We'll be on the lighter side here.
How about you share first?
My cringiest high school moment. Oh, I had a lot. I just wasn't confident in myself when I came to dating. So because of that, it led to a lot of cringy moments.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I had.
Does Michelle know about this?
Yeah, she does. Yeah. At least I'm pretty sure I told her.
Okay.
I'll tell you my first kiss story. It's so cringy. I was 14, and I started dating this someone in my class, and everyone's coming up to me before. It's like, hey, like, when are you gonna kiss her? I think it's like 3 months at this point. Which I was like, isn't this like too fast? You know, thinking about it, like
Yeah.
I was trying to be like very respectful. Like I feel like
You are a very respectful man.
thank you. And my mom taught me that. She's like, be very like obviously I seen her growing up, so like I admire like my mom and respect her for her grind and she always taught us to like, you know, treat women fairly and treat women with respect, which I definitely like do and carry with. But anyways, because of that, I think that like made me I guess hesitant to like do things like that, you know, because I was like, oh, I want to make sure you're comfortable, like you know, obviously consent, you know.
Yes, consent is key.
yes. But anyways, so everyone's coming up to me like, oh, when are you gonna kiss her, right? And I'm like, I don't know, like, isn't it too fast? And they're like, bro, she's been waiting. And I was like, all right, okay. So
Not
I
the
had
forced kiss.
I know it wasn't forced. No, it wasn't forced. I think it was overdue. I agree with them. I thought it was overdue because we went on dates, and I'm like,
3 months.
3 months, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah. See, even you think it's a long time.
Especially at 14, that's a long-term relationship.
Yeah, you're right. But so she ran track and field.
Yeah.
And she was going to practice, so she was at her locker. So here's her locker, and here's like a classroom, right? Okay. English teacher classroom. And I had like, you know, school business meeting or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were just talking and blah blah. And then I was like, in my head, I was like, I gotta do it. I was like, gotta do it. Gotta figure it out. And in my head, I was like, when do I kiss her? When do I go? And then she finally finished packing all her stuff, and I was like, oh wait, before you leave, I gotta give you something.
Oh my god, it's always I gotta give you something.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it. And then so I kissed her, obviously.
Is this in the classroom?
No, it's like in the hallways,
like
where her locker is.
Okay.
And then as soon as I opened my eyes from the kiss, I saw the English teacher there, and I was like, I was like, you didn't need to see this. I was like, how long have you been standing there? And then she was just like, oh, obviously she was like grateful because obviously she's been waiting for it.
Yeah.
But it was so awkward and cringy because like the way I approached it, the way I did it, and I was like, oh my god. And then I was walking her to her practice.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, bye. I went in for another kiss, and then I think she was like, at first she was just gonna leave.
Oh my god.
And then well, she obviously kissed me back, but then I was like, okay.
You just couldn't get enough.
No, I guess not. I think that is such a cringe moment.
I don't know about my first kiss was weird too, but my first kiss was in middle school. I was a little but like not like that. Like I didn't like, you know, do anything. I just I think in middle school. In middle school.
Yeah. Little
I can thank my friend Kiki for that. We were both little whores. But
so y'all a little too young to be horny.
I mean, like we weren't even like corny. I think we just like the attention
Yeah,
from
of course,
boys.
of course. As every middle schooler. Yeah.
So like, I mean, I don't remember. I used to go over her house all the time because our moms were family friends and they would play mahjong. So we were family friends growing up, and I'd go over her house on the weekends, and like we'd always go to the park to hang out with the boys.
Like, oh.
Yeah, so like, you know, like she introduced me to her friends and I was like, okay, like whatever. I was never really interested in anybody, but like I just liked the attention. So I was like, okay, whatever, like whatever. So I ended up like dating one of them and dating like it wasn't like anything, but like he was like my first kiss, I guess. But how that first kiss happened was we like snuck out through her basement. So like our moms would be playing mahjong in like the dining room and her kitchen would be over here. So we'd be like, oh, we're gonna go do laundry.
As middle schoolers?
Yeah. We would always just tell our moms, like, we're going to do laundry. Like, why did we do laundry every weekend together? It was never a 2-person job. And why am I helping her do laundry?
Yeah.
So we're like, yeah, we're going to do laundry. It's like the dead of winter. It's cold down there. But she had a door in her basement that would lead outside. So we'd sneak out that door and meet the boys, like, on the freaking streets. Wow. So we'd like hang out on like the street for a couple minutes because we couldn't take too long because we're only doing laundry.
Yeah, suspicious.
So like my first kiss happened on the streets.
On the streets.
In the winter. It wasn't like anything. It was just like a peck. And
yeah.
Okay, like I'm running away now.
Yeah. You're like, oh, what did
But that was it. I don't really remember like details or anything. But it's weird because your friends are just like watching you.
Yeah, you're right.
But at least it was dark, so like you couldn't really see much.
I mean, in a way, it's kind of like spin the bottle. I never played spin the bottle, but like in a way, that's kind of like I feel like that kind of environment that you were in
because everyone's just watching.
Yeah, life really put you in a way of like you're for the streets.
Yeah, basically. Sorry, Ryan. But to piggyback off your promposal story, I didn't do a promposal, but I wanted to go to prom with my now boyfriend Ryan, but we were just friends at the time.
Yeah.
And we were really good friends, and I wanted to go to prom with him as friends because we both didn't have prom dates. And he told me, like, I don't think I want to go to prom. I don't have a date. And I'm like, oh, like, we can go together. And he's like, no, I don't want to go with a friend.
Wait, did you like him at this time?
I think so, but I was like, no, like, nothing's gonna happen. Like, we're too good of friends.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, he's such a sweetie pie. I've been calling him a sweetie pie since day one. Like, I need like a guy like him, but not him, because he's just my friend.
See, y'all be playing too many games. Like, if it's just a guy like him, you should just do it.
Well, like, I mean, we were just good friends. I didn't want to ruin that friendship.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I remember. Okay, I feel really bad about this, but I remember wanting to go to prom with him, but someone else wanted to ask me to prom, but I didn't want to go with him. I feel like such a bitch. I feel so bad to this day.
Wait, did that person ask you first before?
So
like they already asked you before you think about Ryan?
Ended up promposing to me.
In front of everyone?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say in front of the school.
Okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah. At my house, he like made a poster. It was like dance related because I danced.
Yeah.
And he proposed. And I'm like, oh. I didn't expect this and all that. So I told him like, oh, I'm sorry. I have a prom date already. So then I'm texting Ryan because
you're like, you have to be my prom date.
I was like, Ryan, if anyone asks, we're going to prom together. But that was also a nudge at him to be like, I want to go to prom with you. But that dummy didn't catch on, and he didn't realize that was like me trying to say like if a girl tells you, let's pretend we're going to prom together,
you're going
and
to
we
prom,
both have no prom date, you'd be like, oh, okay, like let's just go to prom together, right? He never got it. He proposed to another girl.
Oh,
and then like sent me a photo of it, and I'm like, are you kidding me? But Yeah. I feel like that was kind of cringy because like I lied
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
like tried to like
Yeah, yeah,
push
yeah.
him, but he didn't get it.
It's okay.
So yeah, and I'm really sorry too. I won't name any names,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah,
really,
yeah.
really sorry.
Crazy. It's all right. It's all right. You were going for the person that you wanted to go with.
Yeah, but like
Wait, did you end up going to prom alone then?
no, I
No.
went with one of my good friend An.
Okay. Okay.
I went
okay.
with her brother.
Okay. Wait, what?
I went to prom with Ben.
Okay, okay. Wait, he was your grade and
No,
everything?
he was young. He was a sophomore. He was
Oh, okay. So
no, I wasn't a sophomore. I was a senior. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
He was a sophomore.
Oh, okay, okay.
So he was younger, but like he hung out. Like An went to prom. Like our group of friends all went to prom. So like I think he wanted to go, so he went with me. He was a good prom date.
Okay.
But my senior prom was like the events leading up to it was a disaster.
Yeah, yeah. That's I gotta say that's pretty rough for a high schooler.
Yeah, embarrassing.
It's all right. Now it's part of your love story.
I guess I still get for it,
Okay.
but like I do no shade to the girl. I like her. She's
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
her friend, so it's fine.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our cringy high school stories. Let's transition to Aeza.
Yes.
Kind of like the purpose of why you created it, what drove you to creating that kind of your own fashion line.
So I'll tell you how it became a thing. It was in the midst of COVID. We were all bored out of our minds, and Catherine, my partner slash best friend, we made a Target run. We were at Target. We after we went to Target, we were just sitting in the car and we were just talking about like our wildest dreams and where we would want to be like when we're older. And we were both, I think, I'm not sure who said it first. It might have been me, might have been her, but basically one of us said something along the lines of, how cool would it be to just be like a stay-at-home mom with like your clothing boutique and we'd just be packing orders and like all that. Like, isn't that crazy? And like your nice big house.
Yeah.
And either me or her, we were like, I want that too. That is like, that would be so cool. And then we just kind of sat there in silence for a moment. And then we looked at each other and we're like, we could do that. We can do that right now. And it's COVID. Like, what do we have to lose?
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
bored.
True.
And we're like, you know what? Like, let's do it. So we got home that night and we were just researching vendors, researching how to start a business. We had no prior background in business other than my Poshmark like I was in school for business, but like no real life experience. So we were like, this is going to be a learning experience. And this could either go really bad or really well.
Yeah.
But
You have nothing to lose.
let's do it. Yeah, whatever. It'll be fun. So that's how it started, and we wanted to create something that was fun, trendy, but we also wanted our target audience was like people like us, like college kids and like just young adults, and we wanted to have trendy clothing for girls but not have it break the bank because clothes these days like so many
Crazy.
like it's expensive
Yeah.
and for like the simplest things. So we wanted something fun. We wanted fun clothes, good quality clothes for an affordable price. So that was our whole mission, and so that's how we came to be. And one of our biggest hurdles when we started was, well, what are people going to think of us? Like people that know us from school or like whatever it was, what are people going to think? But
Yeah.
are you
Yeah, you can curse. You can curse. Yeah.
like I mean, it's at the end of the day, even if it doesn't work out, we tried.
Yeah.
I never want to live in the what ifs. Like I never want to look back and think, what if I started that clothing boutique? What if? Like at least I tried. Like at least I know what that outcome was. And it became something that like I never thought we'd be working with these influencers.
Yeah.
One of the influencers we worked with was also Meme Monster. Like she's huge now. But at the time, like 2021, TikTok was just like
Just
starting off, and a lot of these influencers that we worked with at the time were much smaller. Like, I feel like now if we DM'd any of these influencers, they'd be like, they wouldn't even see
they wouldn't
it.
respond.
They wouldn't see
Yeah.
it because it'd get buried under so many DMs that they see. So I'm really proud, and I'm really happy that we were able to work with some of them at the time.
Yeah, I feel like you just had like a celebrity kind of connection. Like, honestly, like I would even any influencers, like
Yeah.
it would be huge to work with. Yeah.
Yeah, and I DM them.
You never know. You actually never know.
You
Yeah.
never know.
I thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah, just do it.
True.
The worst thing they could say is either no, or
don't
not
respond. True.
And what do you have to lose from that? Nothing, right?
That's true.
So
What was your biggest struggle of Aeza? Wait, why was it called Aeza, first of all?
Aeza, we were just kind of like Aeza because we wanted it to be different, but we both really like flowers. So we were going through a list of flowers, and we liked azalea.
Azalea. Okay.
Which is a flower.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we didn't like how long it was.
Okay.
And we wanted to make it unique or whatever. So we took letters out and like made it our own. I don't
Nice.
even know if there's a Z in azalea, but maybe there is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you looked at the listing, I would hope so. Yeah.
But we basically took that and like put our own spin on it, and we're like, yeah, like this is gonna be it. Like this sticks, and it looks good on paper. Like we wanted it to look good on paper. So
Yeah.
that's how Aeza came to be.
For sure. Yeah. I just can imagine you and Catherine just looking at a whiteboard and like just crossing out, like erasing names. Like, does that look good? I don't know.
We were like typing it on our phones too. Like, does that look trial and error?
Yes, trial and error. That's how building business is like.
Yeah.
So what was like a business struggle that you had?
I guess a business struggle was also like for us getting our first negative review like was hard because I mean criticism is always like hard, but it all depends on what you make of it and how you take it, and we just kind of took that as constructive criticism. And I think at the time the review was it wasn't even a review. They like DM'd us and was like, hey, the strap broke. And it wasn't like they weren't saying like they weren't mad or anything, but I think at the time I took it personally because it was the first time that anyone had said something about our product and it was a negative thing, and I didn't want people to think like, oh, you guys have cheap clothing. Or I think someone also messaged us and was like, well, I can find this on Shein. Did you guys get this on Shein? And I'm like, no, we didn't get this on Shein, but like Shein like has similar things to every clothing brand. So then I think I kind of took offense to that. So I guess the biggest struggle was just like negativity and like what other people thought, and also like people like commenting on like the price of things. But you also have to like a regular person who doesn't have a business background doesn't understand like the cost that goes into a business. Like we can't just be like, yeah, like take it. Like we'd be losing money at that point, right?
Yeah.
It's still a business.
Right.
And then one of my mental struggles was like what people would think and like people just like talking about me. But I got over that because people talk about you because there's something to talk about, and that usually means you're doing something good, right?
Nice,
and I always say that it's always the people doing less that want to stop you from doing more. So I let the people talk. Like I do know that some people were talking behind my back, but like whatever. Like I did something about it. You didn't. So
Yeah, I feel like you as a person, you don't let other people's opinions define you.
yeah.
I guess where did that mindset come from?
Trial and error, I guess, because I growing up I was very shy. I didn't want to do a lot of things. I didn't want to speak up or just I didn't talk really growing up. I was very quiet because of what I thought people would think, or what people would say about me and stuff, and that really didn't get me anywhere. That just kept me shy. Like I was I grew up shy, and if I didn't change that, I would stay shy, and I don't think that would really get me anywhere. So I guess it was just like a mental shift. Like I needed to do something different, and I don't remember when it was, but I do remember there was this one time where I think it was when I entered maybe high school, because middle school, all throughout middle school, I was really shy. Like I literally had breakdowns every time I had to go in front of the class to present. I would cry because I was just so shy.
Yeah.
And I guess like with high school, it's a new school, it's new people. I was like, I'm gonna be different. These people don't know me. They didn't know I was shy before. So let me just be a different person.
Nice. Yeah.
And so I think that's like what changed. And I was still a little shy, but like I definitely wasn't crying at the front of the class every time I had to speak in front of my classmates and stuff anymore. So I guess like at the end of the day, it's just, you just got to do you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what other people think. People are always going to have opinions, good or bad.
Yeah.
And you can't let that define you.
True. Yeah. I feel like that's such a huge struggle for me, just because like being a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's what also contributed to like my depression too, or like how I got there, was because I was letting other people's opinions define who I am, which contradicted the person that I thought I was.
Right.
Obviously in college, like you think you're this person, or either you think you're taking the identity that you had in high school and like sticking to that either you're in college, or you're building a new identity because like you said, like nobody knows who I am.
Right.
Like it's time for me to just, do whatever, right?
Right.
But at the time, like I was so focused on being the nice guy. I was voted nicest guy in high school. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna take this. Regardless of the title, like I wasn't shooting for it. I just think that was the type of person that I am. And like when I was going through my depression or getting into it, other people's opinions of what any decisions that I've made really contradicted that. And I was really just being like, why, like this isn't me. Like this isn't like what I would do. So like having that contradicting identity, but then that part of like, oh no, you're like this bad person, consumed that nice guy identity where like, oh, I'm just a monster at the end of the day, right? So
You're not.
Thank you. But I think that is what happened. That's like so many other people talking about, I don't know, whatever decision I made put me into that sadness and loneliness, because that's who I thought I was now, and I didn't like it, you know? Yeah.
Our minds are so powerful. It's crazy how one thought can really grow into a bigger thought and have it really consume you. But you are far from a monster, Randy.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So for someone maybe who's starting their own business, what advice would you give to them?
I would say it's trial and error. Like you have to see what works and what doesn't. Success doesn't happen overnight. And don't be afraid to fail. Like failure isn't failure. I feel like if you took that leap and started your business, there's no failing. You still tried. You're gonna gain so much knowledge along that way that even if it's not financially successful, you still grew as a person, you grew as a professional, and you learned so much along the way that you could take that and start a new business if that one fails. But it's all about what you do with it and how you grow. When you start a business, you're in control.
Yeah.
It's all about how much work and effort you put into it. And yeah, just don't be afraid. Don't let other people's thoughts and opinions stop you, because they're always going to have something to say.
Yep.
And just have fun with it. That's what we did. We had fun with it, and it's never going to feel like a job. You don't want it to feel like a job. Like you have to do this.
Yeah.
But just have fun, and you'll do great things.
Yeah, because at that point, it's like, why are you even doing it? If you feel like it's dragging on, you might as well just work, a job that you don't want to. Yeah, exactly. I do want to point out that your ambition was already within, was shown through an Aeza. There'd be times where I think you would text us, or you texted Michelle, and that you guys would be doing a whole, like, I think your swimsuit line came out or whatever, and you guys were doing it in the cold, right, or something like that. Yeah, I remember that. I think I saw one of the pictures, and I was like, I think she told us that she was in the freezing cold doing this.
Yeah. Yes. So when we first started Aeza, we realized that a lot of our customers were coming, like they were buying from California, Florida, a lot of warmer climates. So a lot of our clothes, like even though we had some like sweaters and stuff, a lot of our clothes were like cater towards like a warmer environment and cater towards more like, you know, Californians, Floridians, stuff like that. And so and of course New England, we have winter and we
Harsh
have really
winters,
cold winters. So when we're doing our shoots and we took all of our photos ourselves and we liked natural light, so all of our shoots would be outdoors, we would be wearing either bikinis or like crop tops and stuff in the cold and like 20-degree weather.
Jesus.
And I remember when I think it was our first spring line, we were shooting at the beach at Nantasket. I think it was March.
So it's still like
it's
cold.
still pretty cold,
Yeah.
and it was really cold. It was really windy. So picture this: you're by the water. It's windy. It's like 4 or 5 p.m. at the time, so like temperatures are dropping, and you're wearing like nothing because it's like a halter top or a crop top. Like you have no sleeves, no nothing.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to tell in the photos because you can't tell temperature through a photo, but like we would just have to like thug it out. Like we keep our bodies moving so we don't look stiff as a rock.
Yeah.
And when our swim line came out, we were shooting in May, and the water in Massachusetts is basically cold year round, but in May there are still some mornings where it's pretty cold out, and we did shoot in the morning so that the beaches weren't crowded.
Filled,
yeah. So we were in the water, probably freezing cold water. Yeah.
Oh my God. But that just goes to show like your drive and motivation to just, you know, do what's right for your business.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, we like those are one of our fondest memories. Like we're having fun, and they're good laughs. Like if you ask Catherine, like we'd do it again. It was fun. At least like at the end of the day, even if everything went south, we still had fun.
I gotta say, it's definitely huge. Some probably great stories to tell when you're older. That's for sure.
Yes, and that's like my motto too. Like do it for the stories. Do it for the plot.
Oh my.
Do it for the plot. I have that on a poster in my apartment.
Nice. So where's Aeza now? Like where are we at?
Aeza now is going through a rebrand.
Okay.
Our site is completely down. We have been using a platform called Wix all these years, and it's not really working for us anymore. I feel like where our business is at, we need we want to transition over to something new. So we're going to be rebuilding our website. When we started Aeza, we were both in college and a couple years younger, so our styles were a little bit different. So we want to rebrand and have Aeza reflect who we are as individuals now. A little bit more mature, not completely, but a little bit more mature. We want to increase our quality. I think when we first started Aeza, we had a lot of different pieces, but our quality wasn't where I want it to be right now. So I think we're going to decrease the quantity. So we're not going to have as many items per drop, but definitely increase the quality. And just maybe, I don't know, like I'm really into fitness and Pilates now. So maybe incorporate that into the new Aeza.
Nice. Yeah. Well, it sounds like a great future, and you know, we're ready for it. Can't wait for it to drop.
I'm excited, but it's a process. It's a lot of work.
I know.
A business is a lot of work, but it's so rewarding.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break. And we're back. I take that from Lizzie when I shot with her the other day.
Oh, did she?
She's like, and we're back.
Commercial break over.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about why I call you the side hustle queen. Because I feel like, well, there was a time where we didn't know you were doing all these like side hustles, all these side quests. And then, you were like, yeah, I'm making like extra money like here and there. And I was like, dang, I was like, I would love to make extra money too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what got you into side hustles, and then maybe like one of the jobs that you did, and how people can get into that if they wanted to.
Yeah. So I learned growing up in my adult years that I like expensive things and I like to travel, and all these things require money, and I like money. What's, why not try to make extra? So I guess what got me into it was, I don't know, I just always knew, like, people talk online about how they're able to, like, influencers always like, oh, like, it's so easy to make money online, blah, blah, blah. You just have to try to sell this product or whatever. Like, they always have some story, but I always thought it was complete BS because they're probably making money off of me buying whatever they're selling. But I always knew the internet, especially nowadays, is a powerful thing. So I took that and kind of like did my own research upon myself, and I always like try new things. Like, if I have nothing to lose, like, why not try it? And I'm all about trial and error. So, like, try it. If it doesn't work, whatever, move on. So I found this website called Upwork. And basically, it's like a freelance website, and basically people, there are both sides of it. If you're looking for someone, a freelancer, to do X, Y, and Z for you, or if you're looking for work. And I found this website also in COVID, but I didn't really get into it until recently. And just found like a bunch of projects on there that people are looking for. And most recently, I discovered UGC, user-generated content, and a lot of companies nowadays are looking to buy these UGC videos because they want more organic reviews for their company trying to sell the product that they're selling. So I got into that, and basically companies who are looking for videos, I make for them. And I learned that people are willing to pay a lot of money for like a 30-second video. But I also knew that from working with influencers with Aeza. Some influencers charge an absurd amount of money for not even a video, like a post. So I'm like, well, I don't want to be an influencer, but I do want to make money, like, with videos. Like, I'm okay talking about coffee. Like, I could sell something. I could talk about whatever. So I gave it a shot, and they were like, oh, here you go. Here's $100. I'm like, oh, that was easy. So I just continued that. And then from there, I'm just very, like, I like having my free time, but 9 to 5, like, that's when I work. And if I have a very flexible job, like, so I like to fill that time. So I'm not saying, I do my work. But like, if I'm bored, or if I have a trip coming up or whatever, I kind of learned that I could, if I wanted this, I don't know, if I wanted these pair of shoes that was like $300, whatever, but I didn't want to spend the $300 from my bank account, I would think, oh, I just need to make an extra $300 online doing something that I could have these shoes. So yeah, it's like I do either Upwork, or I sell on Amazon. I source products and I sell on Amazon. There's just like so many things that you could do. Like, the options are limitless.
I feel like you really unlock the potential of the internet and how much that can do for you.
I mean,
in a healthy way, not like,
like, use it to your advantage. It's out there. Why not give it a try? I mean, I definitely say it's not like money growing on trees. Like, you definitely have to put in the work. But if you're willing to do that, you could rack in
a good amount of money.
Every month. I
think it's so admirable that, like, I don't know, like, you're using your time with intention, and I feel like that's what I'm trying to navigate to. Even though I feel like I'm doing 100 things all at once anyways. But I feel like you really, I don't know if it's the money driven part of it, which is healthy, like your relationship with money is healthy, or if it's like I don't know, if you're just seeking to get something that you want, you're like, well, I know and have resources to get it, and this is one way, regardless. Yeah.
I think it's just that, like, if there's a will, there's a way. So I've always just kind of thought, because I have been supporting myself for so long, I think that just if you want something and it's not achievable at the time, what can you do to make it achievable? Like, people, I don't like the word impossible, because everything is possible. You just have to find a way to get there.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, what I've been doing. I've been finding a way to get to what I want or where I need to be. And like, just kind of like what we spoke about earlier, like, I still do want to buy my parents a house. Like, my dad has worked so hard all his life, like my mom too. My mom too.
Yeah.
But like, I do, like, that is one of my biggest goals, and I am doing all these side hustles so I could reach that goal sooner rather than later. But also, like, I put myself through school, so I have some student loans, and like, all the side hustles that I'm doing are also going towards paying my student loans off. So and I don't want to be paying that for, I don't know, like 10 years, whatever. I want to pay that off like yesterday. Yeah.
What I guess, what advice can you give to someone that's trying to balance a 9 to 5 and do like the side hustles that you've talked about?
I guess you just really have to, you need to, don't overwork yourself. Like, for me, I strictly work 9 to 5, maybe like 2 more hours after that 9 to 5 block. Like, that is my working time. Like, I'll just grind everything out within that hour, but anything after that, that's gonna have to wait till tomorrow. Like, I think you're just gonna have to find, like, you need to block off and reserve a certain amount of time for work, and then strictly stick to that. Otherwise, I think it's gonna consume you a little bit, and you're gonna, the lines between business and relaxation is gonna get a little blurry, and I think that's what leads to burnout. And I definitely experienced that when I first started Aeza. So kind of learned the hard way. But again, trial and error.
That's the theme right now.
That's the motto.
So what's in store for Kelly now? Like, what are you working on? What are you working towards? I know, obviously, paying off debts that you had and helping your parents. But what else is in store?
What else is in store? I've been really focusing on fitness. So I guess, like, trying to get jacked. I'm just kidding. Not jacked, but I don't know. Just health is wealth. So I've been focusing a lot on my health and just learning a lot of recipes because I've been getting into cooking my own meals.
Nice.
Just learning. I don't like school, but I like learning
things that you want to.
Yeah. Like, I don't think I could go back to school and sit through lectures, but I like learning IRL in real life. So just continuing to learn and have fun with life, enjoy my 20s.
Yes.
Getting to the middle here.
Every time you tell me and Michelle how much our age is, we're old. We're only like a year older than you.
That's so old.
I was gonna say, I feel like you should talk about your vodka story, your pasta vodka story, or penne alla vodka story.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I guess since we're on the topic of me learning recipes, we all had to start somewhere, right? So a couple of years ago, when my cooking consisted of frozen Trader Joe's meals, I decided to branch out a little bit because my friend Catherine made me homemade vodka pasta, homemade vodka sauce. So. With vodka. And we had it. It was delicious. I asked for the recipe and I needed to make it at home. So I said to Ryan one night, I'm going to cook for you. And this recipe is vodka pasta. And the recipe happens to call for 1 cup of vodka.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. I pour my vodka into the pan. I'm cooking it. And you really need to cook out the alcohol in order for it to not taste like alcohol.
Yeah.
But this was my first time making it, so I didn't know that at the time. So to me, stirring a pot for 15 minutes is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm stirring the onions and my vodka, and I'm looking at it like, oh, like if I keep cooking this, it's gonna burn. So I think it's good. So I put in my tomato sauce and like move on with my recipe. Then I'm getting to the end, like it's almost done, and I try it. I'm like, oh God, this tastes like vodka. And so I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to add a little bit more tomato, a little salt. Like I'm really trying to fix this. And then so I thought what was fixed. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bring this over now. I think we're ready to eat.
But she's bringing this over to her boyfriend's family.
Yes. So my boyfriend and his mom. So we were sitting there, and I'm like, and I warn him. I do warn him. Like, I think I put a little too much vodka, or I didn't cook it out enough. But like, try it and let me know what you think. And he's being nice. He's trying to be nice. He's like,
Yeah, you know the face, the raised eyebrows, like.
And we're eating it. His mom's eating it, and I warn her. I'm like, I don't think you should have this. It's not that good. And she's the sweetest woman. She's so kind, and she's eating it, and she's like, it's good. It's good. I'm like, no,
You're like, no, it's not. It's okay. You can tell me
it's okay. It's okay. And I'm eating it too because I don't want them to feel awkward. And at the end of my bowl, I'm like, I kind of feel a buzz right now. There is literally way too much vodka in here.
Drunk off of pasta. That's
no,
crazy.
literally, it's not good. I would never feed that to anyone today. But at the time, again, I was much younger, so.
Are we better at making the?
We are better.
Okay.
I have perfected the recipe. I
Okay.
do make it. It is in my rotation. I only have a handful of recipes that I can make, and that is one of them.
Okay, fair.
It is much better now.
I
think we had it the other day.
Yeah,
the other day
it was
for Rambo's birthday.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good. Okay, fair. Yeah.
So you can attest to it.
I will. I think this is a question I never really asked you, but how is your mental health?
I think my mental health. You're right. You never asked me that. No one really asks me that. I think my mental health is okay. I have recently thought about going back to therapy just because I feel like there is a lot of like built up trauma that I have, like childhood trauma, and just like stuff with my mom. Like my relationship with my mom isn't that great, and my mom, being traditional, doesn't really understand what went wrong, and she doesn't like the language barrier. I speak Chinese, but it's not great, so when I try to communicate with her, it's not always effective.
Right.
So like we just kind of bicker a lot because she doesn't understand me, I don't understand her, and we just kind of butt heads. So I think a lot of my mental health struggles, like it's okay, but it definitely could be better.
Well, I'm glad you're thinking about improving on it.
Yeah.
I just feel like those traumas or anything that you're going through, it's definitely worth talking about. Whether you honestly feel right now like at a bad mental health standpoint, or if you're in a good mental health state, it's like always good to just talk about it and figure out if it's or understand like your behaviors and why.
Right. And I definitely do want to just like understand things better. Even just like my friends, like in general, I just want to be able to see like different points of views and how other people might be thinking. So it's been something I've been thinking about, but it's hard finding a good therapist.
Yeah.
My therapist from years ago retired, so that's not an option. And yeah. How did you go about finding your therapist?
I found my therapist through work. Luckily, luckily the first one that I've talked to, like it hit well, it went off, but I know other people have had struggles with finding one.
Yeah.
I definitely understand, like, you don't want to talk about the same story because you're kind of reliving like the same trauma over and over again. But I think it's worth it to, I know I haven't experienced it, but I think it's worth it to keep on trying just because like once you get that connection. One therapist, like obviously you don't have to tell your story again,
right?
But like it's just you're gonna keep building and building and building,
right.
And I think it's worth it. Like your mental health is so worth it to go through all that time and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Before we get into the big three questions, which is I feel like questions that will really impact the viewers, I think what I want to do is give you your flowers.
Flowers?
Yeah, like appreciation.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You look over to the side, you're like, oh, where are the flowers?
Flowers.
I think with our relationship, and obviously, you know, as we started off, wasn't the best of starts, but
It was untraditional.
Yeah. But I think just having your energy around really pushes me to, like you said, free flow versus like being so structural and trying to control a lot of parts of my life. And when I hang out with you and Ryan and when we hang out together, like there's just a presence about you that it's obviously fun, but also like, you know, you're like, fuck it guys, let's just do whatever, right? It creates more experiences, more stories, that adds more to life versus like, oh, like we always have so many things planned.
Really
So I
sweet.
think the purpose that you have in my life, and not only as a great friendship, but also showing me that you don't have to take life so seriously, and you don't have to just and you don't have to just you know, take a chance on yourself and believe in yourself. And I think today I learned a lot more about you and kind of like what drives you, which I really appreciate, just because like, again, didn't know you that much on a deeper level like that. I think we never had a chance really.
Yeah.
But I think your story and kind of what makes you, I think is a beautiful way of, I think just beautiful in general, and just describing the person that you are and why you do the thing. So thank you so much for, you know, just being part of my life and being grateful.
Sweet, Randy. Don't make me cry. You know I cry when you talk like that. But that's really sweet, and I'm really glad that I was able to open up a little bit more to you, because you're right, we don't really get the chance to just be vulnerable and talk about things on a deeper level when we're at a restaurant. Or something like that.
That'd be cool. Wow, to do at a restaurant. Yeah.
But I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I think maybe this podcast could be our sanctuary or space to, like, you know, talk about those things, right? Okay, so let's get into the big three questions.
Okay.
These are the three questions that, again, like I feel like viewers could have take a lot from my guests and really impact them. So the first question I have is, if someone came up to you that had your same journey, similar experiences, all that, what would be advice that you would give to them?
First, I'd give them a big hug, because it's definitely, like, it's a journey. It's definitely, it has its ups and downs, and when you have your downs, you have to realize that that's just a moment. It's a hurdle. It's not going to stay that way forever. And that's what I tell myself when I have like a meltdown too. And I usually have these in private, because I don't like to, you know, I don't want to drag people down with me. So I give myself a little pep talk, and I would tell this person the same thing. It's like, you just have to, like, life isn't all sunshine and rainbows, and whatever journey you're on, it's, your end goal is going to be there at the end, and you're going to be able to reach that end goal. You just have to keep going. You just have to keep going and have fun throughout the journey. Take things lightly, but also, like, know when you have to be serious. Like I've been saying, I'm so unserious like 80% of the time, but and I feel like that's what kind of like lets me kind of just glide through life, because I don't take a lot of things seriously, and I will when I have to,
right.
but a lot of the things, it's just like, okay, like whatever. Ask for help when you need it. And that was something that I struggled with too. I thought that I had to like handle everything on my own, and just like I had to handle everything on my own, and I just had to carry all the weight by myself. But it's okay to ask for help and ask for opinions of other people, even though, like, you know, like I said earlier, like, forget what other people say, but sometimes it is nice to hear, like, from your close friends and the people that matter, like, what they think of certain things and how you could, like, you know, better your journey, and just, like I keep saying, have fun along the way.
Yeah, having those close group of people that you actually trust.
Having a good support system.
Yeah. Because sometimes if you have too many people in there, it
Yeah.
gets foggy, too many cooks in the kitchen, and then again, like opinions swaying you one way versus the
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think that's also why, like, I only ask when I'm really stuck because, like, it's just, yeah, too many cooks in the kitchen. If people are constantly giving your opinions when it's not asked, I feel like sometimes that just messes with your thinking, and it really fogs up your path, I guess. So ask when you need it, and do what you will with that
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, and I did forget to mention that, as you're going through navigating your mental health and finding therapists, if there's anything, like I said, anything that you want to talk through, or any resources or anything or any exercises, just let me know, and however I can help you, just let me know.
I appreciate it.
So the second question is, what does becoming the highest version of yourself? What does becoming the highest version of yourself mean to you, and how are you doing that today?
I think that being the highest version of myself, I think, means saying yes to more opportunities and just taking a leap of faith without overthinking it too much. And like also like health is wealth. So being the healthier version of yourself and just doing things in your life that could, you know, make you healthier, whether that's staying active or eating healthier, and just growing your knowledge. And yeah, I'd say
Awesome.
that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the third question is, if you can connect me with someone to bring on this podcast that you think would be great, who would it be and why?
Oh. If you had asked me this question 3 years ago and I was still talking to these influencers, I'd definitely hook you up with, I feel like, Meme Monster, because I feel like she'd have, like, her journey is really inspirational, and I feel like she'd have a lot of great pointers, and she's, like, a mega famous now, so I feel like if I had the pull for that, that would have been a great guest, but who can I connect you with now? That's a really good question, Randy. I might have to get back to you.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's fine. All right. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for your time. Before we end things, is there anything that you wanted to talk about or anything that came to mind that we didn't go deeper in?
My brain is usually super scattered, so no, not right now. But this was a really good conversation. I was so nervous coming on here, but you made this feel like just like a coffee chat. Like,
yeah.
I forgot the camera was right there. But this was really nice. This really is a sanctuary, a safe space to just talk about feelings and emotions and just hang out with such a good friend.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. We'll have you back on. We could talk more about just like those whatever stories was for the plot at that point.
Oh my gosh, I have stories.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you like this episode or if like anything resonated with you, please share, subscribe, leave a comment, expand this to your group of friends or other people that you feel like would make an impact on you. This will make an impact on. So, let's fall in love with the process of getting better every day and becoming the highest version of ourselves. Love y'all.
That's amazing.